Okay, so it's 11 o'clock. Let me start. If you don't know because you're not supposed to have got the finishers t-shirt, but this is the finishers t-shirt for Ground Zero, and I'm wearing it because it has to do with today's word. Okay, uh, this t-shirt is about mercy relief, about helping people in need, and to do that, you need today's word. So, good morning, everyone. Kun Keng, good morning. Okay, so you're here because you want to change for the better. And I've said that it starts with what you think about. Dr. Joe Dispenza says thoughts, they lead to choices which lead to actions or behavior, which then create experiences which produce emotions, which then affect our thoughts again. And a person, he says, has 60,000 to 70,000 thoughts in one day. Problem is 90% are the same thoughts as the day before. So the same thoughts always lead to the same choices. The same choices always lead to the same behaviors. Same behaviors create the same experiences, and the same experiences produce the same emotions. So you want to meditate on new words so you can have new thoughts. Which one? Have you invited Charlene here? Okay. We are studying this book, Aspire, Discovering Your Purpose Through the Power of Words by Kevin Hall. And this book contains 11 words, and Kevin Hall shows how these words will become what he calls touchstones in personal development and in business, and how you can use these words as building blocks for your personal success and your inner peace. So today's word is empathy. Okay, empathy. Kevin Hall says that his etymologist mentor, an etymologist is someone who is a master at words. His etymologist mentor, Arthur, likes dirty words. Empathy is another word that springs from the soil. Pathy, Pathy, comes from path, and em is in. So empathy is walking the path of another. Okay, walking in the path of another. If you don't get on another's path, if you don't go where he or she has gone, you can't truly understand what that person is experiencing. Empathy. Isn't it a beautiful mix of the strong and the tender? It is strong in the sense that empathy is a strong action. When you show empathy, you move from where you are to a position of support. Like those of us who are doing the 100K bike run, it comes from a strength, positions of strength. We carried 5 kilogram packs yesterday as a, uh, uh, as a family. Okay, so support is all about strength. You are giving someone a measure of your strength. It is tender in the sense of being able to understand another person on a deeper level. Understanding is a soft skill. It is less about the words said and more about what the heart hears and feels and understands. When we demonstrate empathy, it is a form of communicating. Communication comes from the Latin communicare, which means to share in common. To share in common requires coming together on common ground. So empathy is seeing with the eyes of another, listening with the ears of another, and feeling with the heart of another. I want to add to that empathy is about taking action also. So it's not your emotions, but it finally leads to taking action together with another. Now, average salespeople, what they do is they sell features. They talk about what this product or this service does. Phenomenal sales professionals, they sell benefits. They talk about the product or they talk about what the product or service can do for you. Top salespeople have an amazing ability to anticipate the needs of others. They learn the art of being able to talk about benefits, what the product or service can do for the customer. The old sales training adage is speak in terms of your customers' wants and needs. Speak in terms of your customers' wants and needs. That is empathy. Now, if we recall when we looked at the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey, habit 5 is empathy. Seek first to understand, then to be understood. Emphatic listening gets inside another person's frame of reference. And Stephen Covey teaches nothing is more validating and affirming than feeling understood. He goes on to say, empathy is to the heart what air is to the body. We all want and need to be understood. It is a fundamental wish of every human heart. Understand means to stand among. It doesn't mean to stand beneath or below. It means to stand with. He asks, how many individuals in our daily path need a good demonstration of empathy from us? And I say this for myself because I hear the echoes of my family saying, listen to us. Dave Blanchard is an author of this book called Today I Begin a New Life. Okay. And the foreword was written by Og Mandino's wife. Okay. Now in this book he says, when we first make the decision to step into a person's world, we're entering what one of my coaching clients, Dr. Malia Emmerich, calls a sacred place. When we enter this space, this inner world, and we choose to listen, understand, and demonstrate our understanding by asking empathetic questions, walls come down. Dave talks about Dan McCormick, a new skin giant. Okay? And Dan's a huge Og Mandino fan. Dan always says publicly, everyone I connect with becomes a friend. Some of my friends buy products from me. Some of my friends choose to do business with me. However, everyone is a friend, whether or not they buy my products or join my business. All are friends. Dave shared about his experience with a car salesman, Brad Avis. Until now, he says, buying a car was his least favorite purchasing experience. But when Brad stepped into his world, every question was about what they needed and what would serve them best. Brad stayed totally focused on them. And as trust was established, armed with all that information, including their hopes and dreams, Brad knew how to serve them, and more importantly, Dave says, we wanted to listen to him. We wanted to listen to him. So that's helpful for us in this sales business and recruitment business. Now let me say a bit about empathy and suffering. Sales is a leadership business. Leaders have been through ups and downs and got back up. It's an emotionally tough journey to success, which requires resilience. Dr. Charles Stanley reminds us, we become the most effective when we have been hurt the most. Suffering produces empathy. Now, Dave Blanchard, we talked about him, okay? He's actually the CEO of the Og Mandino Group as well. He said, our character has been forged in the furnace of adversity. We know what pain feels like. We cannot change the past. However, we can choose to use these reference points as a rich resource to assist us in better understanding and connecting with people. The most powerful question a victor can ask is anyone else suffering from a similar wound? That which has crushed us can be used to lift, build, and heal others. So don't waste your suffering. In fact, that is the purpose of suffering. At the end of my business presentations, I frequently ask the question, what's the risk of doing versus the risk of not doing? We have talked about what we can gain with empathy. What can we lose without empathy? In a TED Talk on the power of empathy, Helen Rees says, she talks about the Zulu world. She says, in the Zulu world, the word for hello is sawubona. okay, sawubona, which means I see you. Every human being has a longing to be seen, understood, and appreciated, she says. Employers who want to have an engaged and productive workforce need to get tuned into the people. Patients who don't feel cared about have longer recovery rates and poorer immune functions. Students who are disengaged are more likely to drop out, and marriages without empathy are more likely to fail. So empathy matters in every corner of your life. As the Zulus say, not hello, but I see you. We all need to see each other to bring out the full potential in others. Most people need to have their specialness reflected back in the eyes of others in order to see it themselves. And every one of us, every one of you has the power to do this. When we empower others, we can collectively come together to bring our best selves to solve the world's biggest, smallest, and most vexing problems. That is the power of empathy, says Helen Rees. Now, empathy has served us in the past. Okay. In the past, way back when our ancestors were cavemen, and they were faced with big beasts, mammoths, huge tigers. And so what did they do? They collaborated together out of fear, okay, to survive. Moving forward in the past, space exploration, landing on the moon. This was people, empathetic people collaborating on a dream. So empathy has served us in the past. What about the future? When Kevin Hall wrote Aspire, the age of robots and the internet were not as developed as today. But now we know that the robots are coming to work. And are they going to take away our jobs? Well, the trick is, as human beings, we must focus on jobs that robots suck at. Robots do mechanical, informational work. We have the power to do emotional work. What about the internet? The internet is not designed to provide rich expression of empathy. So your differentiating skill and touch is empathy. Okay. This is the power of empathy. And you can look forward, to a very, very effective future.